Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us to recognize the National Day of Remembrance. I would like to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional territory of the Three Fires Confederacy, the Ojibwa, Ottawa, and the Potawatomi. I invite you all to consider your own position with regard to the land where you live, work, and study. As we make this land acknowledgement, it is also important that we continue to do the work to address systemic and historic injustices. As many of you will know, November the 8th marked Indigenous Veterans Day. Indigenous peoples have served in times of war and peace for more than 200 years. Their service has often been overlooked and underappreciated. Today, we are truly proud to honor the contributions of our Indigenous veterans as well. As we look around this morning, I see a powerful symbol of remembrance, the poppy. There are few symbols as meaningful as the poppy, the little red flowers that covered the battlefields where thousands of Canadians gave their lives during the First World War, is now a symbol of remembrance, honoring the service and sacrifice of veterans and their families during times of war, conflict, and peace. This morning, millions of Canadians like us are wearing poppies as a visual pledge to never forget those who served. Soon we will join in community to bow our heads to recognize the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month in remembrance and gratitude to all of those who served so that we could have the opportunity to forge a better future. Let us show that the memories of those who fell in battle remain strong and that peace and freedom cannot be taken for granted, especially as the world's ongoing conflicts and violence persist today. An excerpt from English poet Lawrence Binyon's For the Fallen, penned more than 100 years ago, still serves as a compelling reminder of the responsibility all of us share in honoring Canada's fallen. They shall not grow old as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them, lest we forget. I'd like now to invite UWSA President Alano Oltanu to read In Flanders Fields by Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae of the Canadian Army.
In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely sing, fly. Scars heard amid the guns below. We are the dead, short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow. Loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields.
It's my pleasure to now welcome Chris Cheng, head coach of the Lancer men's basketball team, to read the Act of Remembrance.
Act of Remembrance. They shall grow not old, as we that are left behind grow old. Age shall not worry them, no, their years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them.
After the guns were silent, after your wounds have healed, after those crosses with fettered oaks sealed, after hope will ride on the way across the sea, and after this train carries thee, I will love you always, this blackbird lifts up from off your chest, and after your soul takes its final rest.
My love, please forgive me. I never planned to die. And love placed 2 pennies o'er my
And now we observe 2 minutes of silence.
Commitment to remember. They were young, as we are young. They served, giving freely of themselves. To them we pledge amid the winds of time, to carry their torch and never forget. We will remember them.
We have borrowed letters from the Canadian Letters and Images Project, an online archive of Canadian wartime experience, as told through the letters of ordinary Canadians themselves. These letters from the collection allow us to better appreciate the struggles and anguish of Canada during wartime. I would like to introduce members of the School of Dramatic Art to read these letters. Professor Lionel Walsh is an actor and director who teaches acting in the BFA in acting program in the School of Dramatic Art. Ryland Thomas is a first-year BFA student in acting. Jeremiah McEachern is a second-year BFA student in acting. And Alicia Weir is a fourth-year student in communication, media, and film and drama.
William Howard Curtis was born in Peterborough, Ontario, where he served in the 57th Regiment. He was in Alberta when the war broke out and joined the 9th Battalion in Edmonton in August 1914. After brief training at Valcartier, Quebec, Curtis went to England in the 1st Contingent and shortly after transferred to the 2nd Battalion. He later served in the battalion's machine gun section, was 3 times wounded in action, and was awarded the Military Medal for gallantry in the field. Lance Sergeant Curtis was killed in action on the 8th of October, 1916, in the closing stages of the Battle of the Somme.
February 18th, 1916. Dear Mother, I received your letter yesterday and I got the parcel all right. It was a real treat to have a good Canadian apple. I will write to Mrs. Edwards and thank her for remembering me. Nora Reeson sent a parcel to me. She should have my letter of thanks by now. I'm feeling much better now, Mother, but still they say I'm not fit for duty. I'll likely be back in the front in a few weeks' time. There are over 50 applicants for commission in the Canadian Army from this battalion alone. It takes some time for all these applications to be considered. However, if I'm fit for duty soon, I don't think I will have any trouble obtaining my commission. Even if I do go back to France, I'll stand the same chance there. My pictures will be ready tomorrow. You can expect them the latter part of the month. I'm sending half a dozen pictures home. Do as you like with them, but don't forget to give Grandma one. This is the third time I've had my photo taken to send home. I don't understand why you never received any pictures. It's been very wet here lately. In fact, it's always raining. There should be fine weather soon. We hear many rumors about zeppelins being in this district, but I've failed to observe one of the mighty birds. I saw one last spring when we were in the trenches. Just think, 1 year ago yesterday, February 17th, 1915, was the first time we were in the trenches. I have seen and been through a whole lot since that day. It's just luck that brought me safely through so far. I suppose Stanley and Floyd will soon be putting on the long trousers. I won't know them when I get home. So Oswald is wearing the khaki now. As for myself, I have forgotten how to put on a collar and tie. It wouldn't take me too long to get back into the ways of civilian life again, given that chance. Bertha and Allie have not answered the letters I wrote them. One is never sure that our letters won't end up in the Atlantic Ocean. It's time for me to do a bit of exercise, so I will keep fit. This time, I hope my photos reach you. I remain, as ever, Howard.
Leslie Neufeld Abram was born in Nipawin, Saskatchewan in 1922. Leslie was part of the 1st Canadian Parachute Battalion, Secoy, some of the first Canadians to land in France on D-Day, June 6, 1944. He was killed early in the morning on the 6th in an assault on a concrete bunker. The collection consists of his last letter, written on June 4th, 2 days before his death.
June 4th, 1944. Dear parents, brothers, and sisters, my time for writing is very limited. However, I must write a few words just to let you know how things are going. First of all, thanks a million for the SIGs and parcels and letters. Received your letter, Dad, just a day ago. By mistake, I received Len's SIGs too. Sorry, Mom. I don't have time to answer all your questions now. Dad, the time has come for the long-awaited day, the invasion of France. Yes, I am in it. I'll be in the first 100 Canadians to land by parachute. We know our job well. We have been trained for all conditions and circumstances. We have a fair chance. I'm not certain, but I expect Len will be coming in a few days later. To go in a paratrooper was certainly my choice. I'm in no way connected to any medical work. This job is dangerous, very dangerous. If anything should happen to me, do not feel sad or burdened by it, but take the attitude of, he served his country to his utmost. With that spirit, I am going into battle. And let it be known that the town of Nipawin did its share to win the war. I have full expectations of returning, and with God's strength and guidance, I'm sure he will see me through all peril. My trust is in God. Your loving son, Leslie.
Arthur Brian Morledge was from Lloydminster, Saskatchewan. He served in the 419th Squadron as a flying officer until he was shot down and killed in October 1942. He is buried in the Netherlands. Celia Spink served with the Women's Auxiliary Air Force, established in 1939. WAAF members exceeded 180,000 at its peak in 1943, with over 2,000 enlisting per week.
October 17th, 1942. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Morledge, by this time you will no doubt have heard the news that Arthur is missing. I would have written you before, only there's rather a delay in getting your address. I sincerely trust that you will forgive me taking the liberty of writing to you, only I knew Arthur whilst we were working at the same RAF station. Perhaps it will be little consolation for you to know that during my 2.5 years in the RAF serving in the WAAF, I have known and heard of numerous cases where crew have bailed out of their aircraft and have managed to escape. There is no news at all of Arthur or his crew so far. It takes several weeks to receive any news, especially if they are escaping. The adjutant of his squadron was exceptionally fond of Cherub, as he is known to everyone. He was the youngest boy in the squadron, and the adjutant said he was keeping a fatherly eye on him. He was always teasing Cherub about this. I received a letter from the adjutant enclosing 2 pictures of Arthur, which are really very excellent, one of which I've enclosed for you, just in case you've not got such a recent snap of him. May I quote a paragraph from the letter? He was a swell kid. The loss of chaps like Cherub make us all the more determined to give Germany hell and end this business. We have our own WAAF officers' mess, which is very much smaller than the RAF mess. Arthur and his friends used to come around in the evenings when they were not on operations and relax in front of the fire, put their feet up and listen to the wireless or talk. Arthur often talked about home, his brothers, his sisters, and all the lovely times he had. If you get any information about Arthur, I would be grateful if you would kindly let me know. Yours sincerely, Celia Spink.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. Count on classic morte l'imperio, il morte la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants espoirs. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you to the beautiful university choirs led by Director Bruce Kotowich. I now invite you all to plant your flag into the lawn to honor our veterans. Then please join me inside Memorial Hall, where I will place the wreath beside the plaque which bears the names of the Assumption College students and personnel who gave their lives during World War II. Thank you for attending today's ceremony.